day. Many of our drivers are being kidnapped, take over their car. In a couple of 1 week now, we are having at least 5 records of killing of e-hailing boat drivers. We are no longer comfortable with it. In Rivers State alone, we have 6,000 drivers operating at night. But out of the 6,000, every night we must have one incident or another. Many police stations know about it. Please, we call of the Commissioner of Police to come for our rescue. We are molested in different ways. We are being tortured.
Some of the drivers also shared their experiences with armed robbers in Rivers State. They called on the companies to upgrade their applications to reveal a passenger's identity when they book a ride.
It's been like this for us. The security system is not really a good one for us, and boat is not helping in this matter at all. We've written to them severally. We need to have details of these passengers we are carrying. They should also get their pictures the way they have our pictures as drivers. But boat is not doing this yet, and it's giving us serious concern. If they had the details of this rider that has done this to him, it's easy for us to track them. We just did a burial of one Dagogo about a month ago. Only last month, we've had about 3 incidents like this. We've had all of this, and
it's very tough for us. It's not easy. In the night, you can't work again because definitely every day, accident of cars, you have accident of a killing of a boat driver, and you're walking away, you're scared. Mostly Zealand houses, town houses, Bogoro houses. Almost 3 incidents yesterday at the same time.
2 other men were shot dead in separate locations in Port Harcourt on the same night when Mr. Daniel was killed by his passengers. While Roland Asoru, a relative of a former commissioner of police in Rivers State, was shot while driving along Wapara Street, Old Aba Road at about 8 p.m., a mechanic, John Okon, was shot dead around Maiwan Diop in Port Harcourt. Meanwhile, hours after John Okon was shot dead, the woman who was with him while the incident happened has been arrested. The woman was taken into custody after she turned herself in at the Maiwan police station yesterday morning. The woman, who did not want her name mentioned and is said to be married, denied having an affair with the mechanic. She said her tailoring shop is near Mr. Okon's mechanic workshop at Ojike Street, and he had only given her a lift when he saw her trekking home on that day. The woman also narrated how Mr. Okon was shot by the hoodlums when he pulled over to drop her off.
Yesterday, I went to church. As I was coming back, I saw him on my way. So he asked me where I was going. I told him I was going home. So he carried me and dropped me at Nanka by Abakaliki. Some boys came and pointed gun at me. They were 3 in number. So one of the other guy now passed to the driver's side, started dragging the car key with him. At that spot, they shot him. I don't have anything to do with this man. She's just my neighbor. I am not the girlfriend that people are saying. I am a married woman.
On his part, human rights advocate Prince Riro, who accompanied the woman to Maiwan Police Division, said she reached out to him. He asked the police not to intimidate her.
The lady reached me this morning and explained what happened to me. So after hearing from her, she indicated her willingness to go to the police to help the police with investigation, and I have led her to my one DPO. The DPO interfaced with her. So for us, we are calling for a thorough investigation into what transpired. The investigation should be devoid of intimidation of the lady or harassment in any form. What we want is justice on this matter, and want justice to be done and seen to be done.
Meanwhile, the spokesperson of the Rivers State Police Command, SP Grace Iringekoko, says the police started investigating the separate killings of mechanic John Okon and the e-hailing cab driver Emmanuel Daniel. On the killing of Roland Asaro, SP Iringekoko said the matter has not been reported to the police. Our correspondent who visited the family of Asaro learned that Mr. Asaro was rushed to the military hospital where he was confirmed dead. His body has been deposited in the mortuary. Mr. Asaro is married with children. Efforts by our correspondent to speak with his family members were not successful. Moving on. Residents of Port Harcourt have been advised to refrain from buying unbranded products as they often do not meet the necessary standards for consumption. In an interview with our correspondent, the Assistant Director of the Business and Consumer Education South Zone of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission FCCPC, Emeka Anyanwu, emphasized that consuming such products could lead to increased health issues and diseases. He stated that the Commission is actively working to oversee and regulate the activities of manufacturers and marketers of these potentially harmful items.
Consumers should not, because they are not handy, now stoop so low as to start purchasing suspected substandard products, because it endangers their life at the end of the day. From time to time, the quality units usually go out for routine checks, both in the marketplace and across the super shop, to see if they are complying to consumer standards with regards to the goods they are giving out or selling to the consumers.
Our correspondent also spoke to some people who buy these products. They said they resort to unbranded products due to financial constraints. They, however, called on government to tackle the rising prices of goods.
I buy that organic thing because it's good and I know the person producing it. Even if I don't know how she produces it, besides, it's economical to use and it lasts a lot. And I must also patronize my own now.
I don't get money to buy the expensive ones. People where they sell the ones, they're really too popular. And then they help our life. Now everything's on cost.
It's because easy to access. Deliveries are mostly faster than these big brands.
Away from that, a professor of development, communication and media studies, Walter Ihejirika, has identified weak institutions as one of the reasons abandoned projects are littered all over the country. His comment comes days after the River State government said it was going to revive the Songhai farm in Tainleko government area. Professor Ihejirika tells correspondent Suibi Uruwari that until issues of weak institutions are permanently addressed, politicians will continue to abandon projects.
One of the faults we have also noted in our governance process here, especially in Nigeria, is the fact of the lack of existence of strong institutions. Most of the times what we have are strong individuals. But if it is where institutions function, projects will be guided by extant laws. Projects will follow due process. It doesn't matter again which government is in power, because once the project has taken up and the institutions overseeing it are strong, no new government can thwart it, because they are based on institutions that are based on laws.
On his part, Executive Program Director of Policy Alert, Tija Bulletin Akman, said abandoned government projects are as a result of government's inability to monitor and evaluate them.
A monitoring and implementation framework has not been fully mainstreamed into the governance process. Recently, for some years now, we've had the federal government had a monitoring and evaluation policy, which is a good thing, but we have not had it widely come up with M&E policy. And then even at the federal level where the M&E policy plays, implementation is another ball game altogether.
Mr. Bulletin Akman also urged government officials to stick to the rules of procurement laws.
So you see a contractor going against the grain of the contract that they signed to implement because of the unhealthy, corrupt relationship they have with the state actors that approve those contracts. You do not see any follow-up in terms of arrest. These are the reasons why people abandon contracts with impunity. So you see how much NDDC contracts were abandoned in the last few years. These are all reasons for abandonment.
Still to come, BBC's fact-checking on President Tinubu's certificate saga stirs reactions. Stay tuned.
The PDP in Ubima, Ward 8.
Candidate Atiku Abubakar is describing the BBC fact-checking report on President Bola Tinubu's certificate saga as a hatchet job. As you may know, the BBC's global disinformation team says there is no evidence that the diploma President Tinubu submitted to INEC was forged. But Mr. Atiku's special assistant on public communications, Prank Shaibu, in a statement claimed that the BBC report is part of President Tinubu administration's propaganda program. Mr. Shuaibu criticized the BBC for allegedly attempting to bamboozle Nigerians with the jaundiced report when the details are clear for everyone to see. He alleged that the BBC investigation was carried out with a predetermined goal to clear President Tinubu. Also, the PDP's Deputy National Youth Leader Timothy Osadolor insisted that President Tinubu's certificate presented to INEC was not genuine. In the same vein, the National Legal Advisor of the party, Kende Edun, said regardless of what anyone may say, the president must take responsibility for the mess he's putting the country through. The leadership of the Labour Party said they are not moved by the report of the British media outfit, which it hinted was damage control to change the certificate saga narrative. But the APC Director of Publicity, Bala Ibrahim, criticized the PDP's presidential candidate over the certificate controversy. He applauded the BBC, describing its investigation as factual and a reflection of reality. Also, the APC criticized the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, saying it is seeking cheap media attention. APC's National Secretary, Ajibola Basiru, also spoke on this.
It's done, and happily enough, in a matter of weeks, the Supreme Court will decide on their election petition. They are just saying these things because they are bad losers. The president is busy dealing with serious matters rather than irreverent comments and the argument ad absurdum by losers and perennial losers at election. So I wouldn't dignify such people with a response, and I wouldn't want the president, I wouldn't advise him to even think a bit about responding to them.
Yesterday, the Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi asked President Bola Tinubu to address Nigerians about his true identity. Mr. Obi made the call in a media briefing yesterday, saying the president's responsibility is to clarify his identity and not delegate the task to others, as he owes it to Nigerians.
Chief Bola Tinubu owes the nation and the world a simple debt of obligation only he can discharge. I therefore respectfully call on him to personally mount the rostrum of his present high office to perform a simple task. He should reintroduce himself to the nation he governs and to the world for avoidance of further doubt. He should let the world know his name, his nationality, his place of birth, his parentage, the primary and secondary school he attended with dates, as well as the actual universities he attended and certificates obtained.
Mr. Obi, however, said he will not take legal action in response to the certificate forgery allegations against President Tinubu.
I'm not in court now. I said I don't get involved with the issue of court. And let me say it again. This is a critical issue. It does not matter when the issue came up. It still remains the same thing. It is fundamental. That is part of building the institution. But it has to start by having leaders who are credible. Everything starts with the credibility of the leader. The character, the behavior. These are critical issues. That's why I say this goes to the soul of our nation. It is not politics. It is an appeal.
Recall that allegations that President Tinubu's certificates were faked went viral on social media following the release of the Chicago State University of his academic records last week. However, the BBC said the discrepancy in the appearance of the diploma is due to it having been reissued in the 1990s. In other news, the second edition of Ogbako Ekwere USA-Canada Free Medical and Surgical Mission is underway at the Emo Haleko Government Area Council Secretariat. Speaking at the flag-off, the president of Ogbako Ekwere USA-Canada, Patrick Ugo Anyawoke, said the initiative is aimed at supporting the government in providing quality healthcare services for all. Mr. Ugo Anyawoke also said eye surgeries, breast cancer screening, and assisted treatment are among the services being provided.
Abakikwere USA Canada is very committed to this idea that we can collaborate with the government, we can collaborate with any person who cares about their people to ensure that we can deliver on the healthcare needs for our people. We did more in terms of bringing more services to something as critical as breast cancer screening. We're also seeing a lot of people that have eye problems doing the eye surgery. We're also doing a lot of other general care like blood pressure, diabetes. I am touched. I know that folks that have come here, they have seen what we're doing and they are proud.
He also blamed the increase in the migration of doctors and nurses to foreign countries and the lack of well-equipped healthcare centers.
The healthcare system is inadequate. Government needs to do more. But we're also appealing to individuals, the philanthropists, to do more to help the government to build more healthcare facilities so that people can have access to healthcare. The doctors that are leaving Nigeria and going to abroad, the reason is not necessarily for the pay. Of course, money is the driver, but I can tell you that a lot of these people just want to be able to practice medicine. They've gone through the training, but they don't have the facility that enables them to practice. And so when they go out, they're able to basically learn about new ways of treating healthcare issues.
Some of the beneficiaries of the 5-day free outreach appreciated the Abakikwere USA Canada for the kind gesture.
Some people don't even have the opportunity to go for medical checkup, but this is an opportunity given to us by the people that came from Canada to just bless us. If government should organize something, it will help the masses. This is free. Free thing is always good.
We are very, very happy. Even not Ikwere alone, other people are coming here.
A challenge involves finance, and when you don't have money, you will not even take care of yourself. Everything you have to go to teaching hospital. But now, this one is, we are assessing it and it is free medical. I'm overwhelmed because our children from Abakikwere USA branch brought this to Emoha local government.
What they are doing is worthwhile. It's good, helping the poor ones to get their body.
The outreach started on October 9.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will visit Israel today in a show of support for the country. The Palestine Liberation Organization says Mr. Blinken will also meet Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. The UN called for essential supplies of food, fuel and water to be allowed to reach civilians in Gaza. On the news this morning, you heard that e-hailing drivers in Port Harcourt have raised concerns over incessant attacks on their members after the death of 5 of their colleagues in the past week. A woman has turned herself in after fleeing the scene of a gunman attack on a mechanic in Port Harcourt. The police have said that they are investigating Tuesday's gunman attacks in separate locations in Port Harcourt. The BBC's fact-checking on President Tinubu's certificate saga has stirred reactions. APC has criticized the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi over his self-reintroduction call on President Tinubu. On the foreign scene, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will visit Israel today. The news was edited by Choma Ezewafo. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this morning. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I am Ifeemi Andrew. Good morning.